our junior quarterback, Tyree Jackson. With that, both Tyree and Coach are available for questions.
Well, Coach, I mean, you hit on a little bit in the teleconference yesterday that, this is the type of season that every program kind of envisions, and that's what you're working towards is, having double-digit win seasons, making a conference championship game. But with that said, best season in program history by wins, chance to win the second conference championship. I mean, what does that mean to you?
Well, to me, first of all, it's about the players first of all, and that's what's always most important. And I guess to me, we've taken the necessary steps that we want to take. Whether those exceeded or not, I don't know if I had a win total in mind, but that we've taken a big step in building the consistent winner that we want to do in the overall big picture. What does it mean now is that, as I've told our players, multiple times, especially down the stretch, is really how proud I am of them, how fortunate I feel to be their head coach. But as we move into this game, getting to Detroit was a goal, not the goal. And I think that's important to keep in mind as we prepare this week. That we embrace that part of it, but then ready to get ready to play a very good football team in Northern Illinois.
Is that an approach, Coach, that you try and hammer home? I mean, what's made you successful? It's a cliche, but it's a game of the time, type deal. You try to get them to treat this like every other game?
Yes, Adam. I think so. I think that's the way you have to do it. And the thing that, without getting way ahead of ourselves is, the standard now is something else, and you can't spend a lot of time looking in the rearview mirror about what's been done or doing it. You got to keep working, and I think that's the thing. I thought we did a good job at our last place was that we did keep, we kept focusing on what we have to do in the moment, what we have to do to get better, and I think this group has embraced that because we really haven't changed much of how we go about it, and that's worked for us, and we want it to work again.
It doesn't seem as if your players need a wake-up call necessarily the way they responded this year, but did the Ohio loss serve as, what did that serve as, if anything, to maybe a reminder of some kind? How would you describe that?
Yeah, I think both losses at a certain time. I think we responded off the Army loss really well. We had played some really good football in that Temple Eastern Rutgers stretch. And then all of a sudden that happens, and then we bounce back from that very well, and then we come back. You could put a lot of things in. I don't know, reasons. I don't want them to be excuses, whether it be midweek travel, whether it be finding out that you win one of your last two, you're going to Detroit, all those different things. And then running into a team like Ohio who had their backs to the wall to stay into it. Playing their best the whole game of the year probably. A lot of things went there. Yeah, wake-up call, sure. But last week we went down the Ad Pro Center. We kind of challenged the guys a little bit, but that was as good a practice as we've had maybe since I've been here, and it showed that the determination and the focus that this group had.
This question's for Tyree. What kind of opportunity is this for you and your teammates to add to this program's history and kind of define your own legacy here?
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing for us as a team, and we're not taking it for granted. We're very excited about the opportunity, but we know that we still have to take care of business. As Coach said, our goal wasn't just to get there. Our goal was to go out there and play our best football. So we got to take this week of practice very seriously and come out ready to play.
What does your team do to do that specifically?
Just do what we've been doing. We can't really change anything just because it's the championship game. We have to continue to work on the little things and continue to listen to our coaches because they obviously know what they're talking about, and continue to just work and get better each day.
Tyree, it is a matchup of the top two defenses in the MAC, but do you think that your guys on your side of the ball might be able to make this more than a 7-6 game, or you know what I'm saying? Is there an opportunity, even though their defense is really good, for you guys to do some things offensively?
Yeah, they have a very talented defense, and we just got to go out and execute our game plan and trust our coaches and what they've been preached to us all week. And I think that if we do that, we'll be able to have some success. But as I said, they do have a very talented defense, and we do need to come out ready to play because they're very talented.
Tyree, how much experience do you have playing in domes? I mean, do you have to approach, your strategy as a quarterback any differently playing in an indoor stadium?
No, I played there my senior year of high school in the state championship, and I didn't feel there was much of a difference. So we practice at the Bills indoor a lot, and that's a dome, and I think that if anything, guys like it a lot more, and it's a controlled environment, and the guys like it.
What do you remember about that about the game? 5 years ago?
Try not to remember the score, but I remember that it was good. It was a good experience, and I always wanted to get back there and kind of get another shot at it.
Terry, what does it mean to you, personally, to help this team to its historic level?
I think the big thing is that it's a team thing, and the team goes from the trainers, the coaches, everyone in the locker room, the guys on scout team, and it's bigger than just any person or any group of people. I think that a lot of people went into this that don't get recognized, and I think that that's what the big thing about this team is, that everyone has such a love for each other and a love for this team that's just been a very unselfish team.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about what makes their defense so good?
Well, Sutton Smith is probably, gets the most notoriety off their defense, and deservedly so. He's a special defensive end with a special skill set. But, when you watch them, well coached, fundamentally sound, they're to me, it impressed me is that they're where they're supposed to be, keeping the ball, with the right leverage. Their defensive tackles do a great job holding the point. They're physical. It's, to me, I don't want to say the word like fight, because it's just an excellent defense that really plays to its strengths very well. And the thing that we talk about is, they probably played the most challenging non-conference schedule of anyone in the group of 5 schools, and to still be, after 12 games, top defense in the Mid-American Conference is, says a lot about what we're going against and the challenges that arise. And again, the physical linebackers, it's really, a lot of times it's going to start up front, and they're physical and they're quick on the edges, and they're physical at the linebacker spot and fundamentally sound. And after that, they got an athletic group of secondary players who play with a lot of confidence, because they know there's a good chance that the quarterback is got somebody, coming around the edge or something, getting some pressure on them, and it's worked for them. And that's why it's a huge test for our line. It's a huge test for our receivers, and of course up front, we're going to have to find a way to run the football.
Your adaptability offensively, how much confidence does that give you, and more importantly, maybe your players?
Well, I think what it does, Adam, is that's kind of been our mindset, offensive philosophy from the start, is to be as balanced and as multiple as we can be for the given circumstances. And we've tried to build our offense to become, more athletic, faster, being able to stretch the field, and we think we have the guys that can do that now as well. And then the ability now to balance ourselves in the run game has really given us this opportunity that no matter who we're going to go against, that we feel we've done things that throughout the season that we're going to be able to run during the game.
Talking about your defense, I know you as 2 good backs, the quarterback's not afraid to use his legs, and the one thing that really jumps off the page from the 2 losses was both those games you guys kind of struggled to slow down the run from Army and Ohio. So how important is that to get out there and first half really shut that down for them?
Extremely important. A physical offensive line Northern Illinois has, an impressive offensive line, and you said we didn't stop the run very, very well in either one of our losses. And I'm sure they have every game of ours, we have every game of theirs. So that's going to be a huge challenge. Missed tackles and things like that become more apparent in games when you lose, especially. So tackling well, and you always worry late in the season, because the guys have gone a long time, so your practice time and those things. But again, Tyree hit it. It's executing the fundamentals and doing the things that you've been talking about since the first day you stepped on the field in August about how to go about it, and that'll be the test. And that's why, But if you're fortunate enough to play a 13th game, you're going to play a good football team. They earned their way there. So again, it's going to be two good football teams, and it's our expectation that, and it's going to be a good game, and it's our expectation that we're going to hold our end of the bargain up to make it a good game.
How, your record and the team's performance in a lot of ways, to an extent anyway, Lance, speaks for itself this year. But what does a conference championship do? Does it validate everything you've done? How would you perceive that?
That's I guess that's more for no disrespect. I guess that's for others to decide if it validates. This team has validated itself to me a long time ago in its work ethic and its character and what it's been able to do and overcome. Our staff, I think, has proven itself as being able to coach at this level, evaluate, develop, retain, not just players but student athletes. So I am pleased at where we're at and where we're heading. So. But hopefully it'll be another nice feather in our cap for our athletic department, our university, and again as we try to continue to gain more momentum in Western New York and really nationally.
Tyree, what has jumped out at you when you've been watching their defensive game film, and particularly about Smith because he can be such a dominant player?
Oh yeah, they all play with high motors. They fly around and they're always around the ball, and I think that's the big thing that they do is just playing hard and playing with a high motor at all times. And like Coach Lipo said, they're very talented, and when you do play in a championship game, that's what you expect.
Smith's been really good about not just sacking quarterbacks, but when he sacks them, forcing fumbles, knocking balls away. How conscious do you need to be of that?
I think really just continue to do what we've done all year and just prepare. Coach Dabrowski does a great job in individual periods in practice and just working on things like that. So I think really just continue to do what got you there.
Tyree, a little bit of a homecoming for you going back to Michigan, and I was talking to Greg Boris yesterday, and he was talking about how the road games he was able to go to. He saw you had some fans travel pretty well, and obviously probably expecting some of your family and supporters like that this weekend. How big is that for you and for players like that to be able to see you be supporters on the road?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I think that our fans have done a great job all season traveling to games, and I think in Detroit that there will be a lot of people there, and I think that Buffalo has done a great job of kind of accepting us and kind of just coming out and showing support to us, and we've been very thankful for that, and we're excited for that in Ford Field.
What does it mean with the Michigan guys in particular
to
go to your backyard?
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's kind of tough for a lot of people to travel to my games in Buffalo other than family, but it'll be nice to see old teachers, old coaches, and a lot of my friends and stuff. So, that'll be cool for after the game, but right now I'm really just focused on the game and taking care of that.
Lance, for you, this really isn't, I guess, an uncharted territory in playing such a big game or playing for a championship, but for your guys, it's something they haven't seen before at this program. So what are you and the coaching staff really preaching this week?
Well, I don't know if the word preaching would be there. I think what we're trying to do outside of having maybe some time adjustments, we're trying to stay in our routine the best we can. And that's the nice thing about a conference championship game that comes right after the end of the regular season. You're trying to just keep it as normal as possible. Much like last week, I think when we sat here as well, our guys know. They know what they're playing for. But it's a team they played a year ago, and actually we've played them all 3 years prior. And so we have great respect for them. Yeah, it's going to be in a great setting. I think in maybe a ironic type of way. We played at Lincoln Financial earlier in the year, so we've been in an NFL stadium before, so we can kind of check that one off. And now it's going to be indoors. But there's some things that this group goes through, and there's things and experiences that they should embrace and kind of soak in a little bit. And hopefully they'll have a chance to do that when we get our walk through practice time. But then after that, once the ball's kicked off, it's going to be another game. And again, we've asked them, like we always do, and it's pretty boring, but, do your job and do it the way you've been coached to do it. And if we try to make it more than that, then I think you run into problems.
Lance, does history of having won a MAC championship 10 years ago, is that anything you talk to these guys about? Is it anything you address? Does it mean anything, or was it so long ago that it's just something that's in the archives?
Have I said much about that? No, I don't spend if we'd have won it last year, I probably wouldn't have said much. That's just not me. The only thing I've told this group from the start and from the seniors to our upperclassmen is that I always felt they had, at the start of this year, that they had a great opportunity to be a special group and leave a legacy of some sort. That's what we've talked about. There was opportunity there to do things that maybe hadn't been done before or hadn't been done in a while. And that's the way we kind of left it, because I wasn't here 10 years ago and what that group went through, because I know through this whole transition as a football program, there's been a lot of growing pains. But this group has gone through some special circumstances as well. And I just think that they've done some of that, and no matter what happens, these last 2 games, this group is pretty special and has done a lot of great things. And I want them to embrace that, but keep forging forward.
Anything else for Coach or Tyree? All right, they're available for one-on-ones if you need it. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.